So we were left in the part where we had this user login, if you remember. We have a login, we have a clear button, and when it started, I can just show you again. So we have this application running, and whenever I press on login, it goes to the successfully login window and I can come back. But it doesn't actually accept any kind of username or password. So that's what we're gonna do in the next one. So I'm gonna kind of like complete this exercise. So you can see it. All these sessions are recorded, guys, so you will be able to watch them later. So don't worry, okay? I will upload them on YouTube and you'll be able to watch them again and again should you want to. So Neville is asking me, is it possible to post the solution? Yes, as I told you, these are all recorded, so you will be able to watch them. Just for you to continue this application, I'm gonna go into the login part. And before I log in, actually, I'm gonna take the username and the password of the user. So I'm gonna stop this and type a username and password. So this should be string username, string password. Now username will be equals to this. You don't have to type this, txt username dot text dot toString. And password will be the same, this txt password text toString. Now a validation that you can add in here is to pass these values and make sure that they are valid before they are typed. So we can create a function if is validated. And if the validation is done properly, we can actually run the form now. If it is not done, then we shouldn't be able to show the login one. So I'm just gonna copy paste this. Now I wrote a function in here, as you can see, but the function's body is missing. So we're gonna go down and type the function body. So this is where this function ends, private login. So I'm gonna write my own function. Private bool is validated. And I'm gonna define a value here, bool, everything is valid, which is true by default, and we return that. So I'm gonna do the validation here. If we can say something like the username I just want to actually define this at the top so I can use them inside the program. Why not? Let's do that. String username, initially empty, and also string password. Instead of defining them inside the button, I'm just gonna go and define them at the top and make sure that both of them are empty. It will be easier for me to access their states. And coming there, I'm just gonna type username here. This will be easier for me to access, that's why I'm doing it. So I'm gonna come in here and say, if username dot length is less than or equals to 0, then I'm gonna show an error message. Now I'm gonna show you something different this time. I want to show you how an error provider works. So we're gonna go back to the form 2 and drag and drop an error provider, which is a nice component that you can use in your programs. You can find the error provider somewhere around here. Yes, it's there. You drag and drop it to your form, anywhere in the form, and it is actually created there, down there, and you can change its properties. The error provider, just gonna make it error provider because I'm not gonna use more than one. So just gonna call it error provider. An error provider is a blinking error, like kind of like it blinks and shows you where the error is, rather than showing you a message box. It kind of like shows you, where the error is happening. So that's how it works. My session is ended on big blue button. For some reason, it's not working for me. So I'm going to continue doing it on Zoom. So once we have done the error provider, I'm going to come into login again. And if the length of the username is not less than 0 or 0, then I'm going to set an error. We're going to use the set error functionality and set an error here and say something like, please enter your username. You can also make sure where it goes, which control statement it goes. You can see it at the first type, the control statement, and then you type the error message. So the control statement that I want is txt username, and I put a comma and type the please enter your username, and I put the semicolon. And we can put an else if here to do the same for password. So password length is less than or equals to 0. You can also say equals to 0. I just say less than or equals to, just in case. An error provider set error, and that should be txt password. And then this time I'm gonna say, please enter your password. Let me just pull these aside so you can see it better. Yeah, and each time this is clicked, I actually want to set the error provider to clear. So we can clear the state of it so we have no errors, kind of. So when you submit it at each time, it sets an error. The other important thing we need to consider is that we make sure that everything is not okay anymore. So I'm gonna put a bracket here and set everything is okay, everything is valid to false, because we identified an error now. So we don't want our program to continue unless these errors are fixed. So make sure to put that. That way you can prevent your user to continue. So let's just test it right now. So how the program would run is when the login button is clicked, it will get these values, it will go to the valid phase. And if it is not valid, which is like if the username is not entered and if the password is not entered, then it will not be valid. So it will never go to the form login part. So let's just debug this and try to run it to see if we have any errors. We don't have any errors. And I immediately click on login and you see the blinking error. If you go there, it says, please enter your username. And I'm gonna type test here and press on login again. This time it says, please enter your password. I can see that Congo raised his hand. So I'm gonna unmute him. Yes, Congo, do you have any questions? I unmuted you so you can talk.
Sir, on the validation, why didn't we just use if instead of if, else if?
Because I want them to be one after the other. I want the user to be selected first and then the password. I don't want them to be done at the same time. I want to check first the username and then the password. If you do only if, then the error provider will try to show both errors at the same time. It is nicer to handle the errors one by one. Okay?
Okay.
That is why I did it that way. You're welcome. I see some other people have questions. Now you learn how to raise your hand. Finally. Nice. I saw Neville raised his hand. Neville, you have a question?
No, like I couldn't see when you were testing to see whether the functionality was working. I couldn't see because your form was hidden or something. But now I can see.
My form was never hidden, gentlemen. If I want to hide it, trust me, I can hide it. The part that I did is that I first get these username and password. I wrote a user-defined function. So I only say that if this function is correct, log into the form. And as soon as the program comes here, it actually jumps there to this function. So as soon as it sees this line, it jumps there and tries to handle this problem in here. If the username length is less than 0 or 0, then it shows the error provider and says that please enter your username and sets the Boolean value to false. The same thing happens for the password. It also does the same thing and it returns false actually. So because this is false, the form is never executed. Does it make any sense? Hello?
It does. Yes.
Good. So I want to display the error provider. Actually, when people type the form itself, I want to make sure that it is it disappears, it clears itself. So I'm gonna just click on this text username change, text password change to just to clear the error provider. So I'm just gonna go there and copy paste this. So whenever the user types anything now, such as they press on login and they see this, but when they go there and type it, look, it will disappear. As soon as they type it, the error goes. You see, this is also a nice touch that you can add to your program. So as soon as I go there and touch and type a password, then the error provider disappears. Now, if I want to delete this and submit it again, it appears again. It's kind of like more flashy, more like standing, aesthetically standing display. Okay, I like it. So you can apply it should you want to. We didn't do the clear part, so let's go to the clear part. I'm gonna expand this again. Clear part. In the clear part, we need to clear all the errors and everything. So username, text, gonna type clear, password text, clear. Also any error provider, I'm just gonna clear just in case if there's an error provider left on the form, clear that one too. So should we run the application now, you see that I didn't type anything and I typed something in here and then I pressed on this. Now I'm gonna press on clear and everything is gone. You can also set the cursor focus should you want to. Just make sure to focus the text, the cursor. It's a nice idea so that the people can type immediately as soon as they reset it. It's like clear, you see that it's reset. So I didn't type anything, log in, pressing on clear, and the cursor starts from there. So aesthetically, we fixed up everything. So how do we make sure that this is login now? So we fixed the errors, we fixed everything. How do we make sure that this is gonna connect? So we're gonna go up and we're gonna check up whether the username is matching with the password. So assume that username and password are admin. So we're gonna check it. If the username equals to admin. And let me just expand this a little bit. And the password, which is pwd equals to admin as well. This means that, gonna make them into a big bracket now. The username and password, they are both admin, which are the correct login. So I'm just gonna type correct username and password. Normally these will come from a database, but you don't know database yet. We're gonna see something like a database in this course, which is the link interface, link frame, which you're gonna use XML and JSON files to basically store data. But what you do in there is that it's gonna be like checking it from a file rather than a database. You're gonna take the database classes in the third year, so I'm not gonna show you any database yet, but we will use files to get data. Once this is done, we can show it. If this is not done properly, you can simply put an else statement and display a message box or something telling the user that their username and password do not match. So I'm going to expand this. Message box dot show. So we're going to type something like, sorry, username and password are incorrect. And I'm going to put a comma here. Take it down there and login failed, and just a message box button, okay, and maybe a warning or just, I don't know, error icon, whatever you like. So just to show you that their password and username is not really matching with the ones that we have. So assuming that this is the correct username and password, and the other, anything else is not correct. Is this clear? Can you follow? Yes? No? Cool. So I'm gonna build up the solution and run the application. We can see the application here. Now I'm gonna type my name and my surname as the password and press on login, and it says, sorry, your username and password are incorrect. I can clear this, press on login, and it says enter your username. I'm gonna type admin and admin in here, press on login, and now it says successfully logged in, welcome to your profile. Nicely done, huh? So we created a login interface. How did you find that? Was it useful?
Yes, it was.
Yes, cool. You can enhance this experience if you want, like you can put a counter for 3 times, for example, or something, and force the user to kind of like, exit the program or something. Let's do that as well, and I'm gonna end up this session. So I'm gonna go up and create a counter. Counter equals to 1. Each time they log in here, I'm gonna increase the counter. They log in a wrong way, I'm gonna increase the counter. And I'm gonna put else if the counter is equals to 3, I'm gonna display something like a message. Error. You tried wrong username and password more than 2 times or 3 times. This is gonna be 3, then it's gonna be 4. If you want to allow the user to enter 4 times, it should be 4. Let's do it 3, so you can, if you want to change it, you can change it later. So you tried wrong username and password 3 times. Because of security reasons, you will be forced to quit. And once we have written this, we can use application exit, forcing the user to quit. Once they have pressed on the OK icon and everything, we can kind of like force them to quit. And each time they enter, can make this over 3 as well. Each time they enter it now, it's gonna be like, sorry, your username and password is wrong, and it will increase it. And once it hits to the 3 threshold, hopefully it will say like something like, oh, you cannot continue anymore because you entered it so many times wrong. So that's like 1, 2, 3, and it says you tried wrong username and password more than 2 times. I need a space there. Because of security reason, you will be quit, and the application actually forces you to quit. How nice, huh? So you gotta be able to create applications like these guys. Like, seriously, this is gonna get real now, okay? No longer baby programs, no longer spoon feeding. You need to dedicate yourself, especially after this crisis period. People will announce a lot of jobs, you know. After the coronavirus situation, I expect there will be a rise in job vacancies because they will need a lot of qualified people to save the economy of the world. And you need to show that you are skilled when you graduate, so you can get a job as soon as you graduate.
Oh, okay.
Is this program useful? Did you find it useful?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
I want to copy paste it to Moodle because I am the best lecturer, isn't it?
Very true.
So I'm gonna create a notepad in here and copy paste my code. So this is like multiple forms / username and password exercise. They're gonna multiple forms, username, password exercise. So you can actually see it on Moodle now. You will be able to see it, not yet, but I will upload it, and you can see my code there. So I'm gonna connect to Moodle and upload it. My course. Down and under the exercises section, I'm gonna do that in there. Where is it? Cancel. Yes, any questions now? If you have any questions, meanwhile, while I upload this, you can ask me questions.
So we have done the form, the multiple forms, but we haven't done transferring data from form 1 to form 2, like the username to appear on form 2.
Okay, you want me to do that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's do that as well. So if you want to transfer it to the second form, all you have to do is to create a field in the second form. In this case, I created them in the wrong order. So my form 1 is the second form and my form 2 is the first one. So I'm gonna create something like this message. I'm gonna change it. So you need to go to the properties, okay? Not Solution Explorer, properties. So let me just find it. Where is the properties? It's here. And set the property of that specific component. Set it to public. Find the modifiers there on the list and set it to public. This is actually a horrible idea, but because you don't know object-oriented programming, for now, this is gonna work for you. Normally, this is not actually a good practice, but for now, it will do the job. So I'm gonna name this as label info, okay, or label welcome, whatever. And you see that automatically every single component is set up to design because of the object-oriented rules of programming languages. And Kongan, you have a problem, or did you ask it already? I just saw your hand. You have a question? No? Cool. So I'm just gonna go and change the private feature to public. And once you have done this, we can modify the properties of this now as soon as you create it. You see that when I go to the button now, it's private, but when I go to the form, the label, it's public now. Public means that you can modify the properties from outside the class, which is, as I said, a horrible way of doing this because it's there's a rule in programming called encapsulation, and you are actually breaching that rule. You are not following it, which is a bad practice. But for now, it will do the job. And the only reason why I'm doing this is because you don't know object-oriented programming. Now, how do you do this? When you come there to the login screen, which is the form profile, you can now pass the username. So all you have to do is if you want to reach to that specific component, you just type the name of the form, put a dot, and you'll be able to access to its state, like label welcome. You see, you can access to its state now just by typing the form name. You can set up the text property, something like welcome this person. Welcome at the username, whatever that user is called, plus, and put something like you have successfully logged in. So something like this will be written down just by typing reaching the label welcome text. And how did I reach this? I went to the form 1, make sure that the properties feature of this specific component is actually under the design section. It's actually public. Okay, make sure that it's public. Now I can save this, save all, go into the code just to check it again. The welcome part text is welcome this username you have successfully logged in. In this case, my username is admin, so I will say welcome admin. So I'm running the application now. I'm gonna type admin and admin again, press on login, and it says, welcome admin, you successfully logged in. So you can transfer information from one form to the other. Does that answer your question, gentlemen? Yes?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So with this new version, I'm gonna upload it to Moodle. Yes, any other questions that you want to ask? About the assignment, about the class, about anything? Don't worry about the attendance, gentlemen. Please focus on the lecture, all right? Forget about the attendance. No one cares about your attendance. Just focus on the lecture.
You can laugh. Wait. The moment is gone.
All right, please go to Moodle, refresh your page, and let me see if you can see it as a student. I think it should be under the section now called exercises. At the bottom, you'll be able to reach my code. Don't forget that you have to type the same names for your components. Otherwise, this is not going to work for you. Okay, so make sure that the same names are followed, such as I use the username and PWD. If you don't use that name, make sure to change it either in here or in your layout, or otherwise this is not going to work for you. Right. Any other questions before I end up my lecture? Do you have any questions to me? Make sure to check out the assignment. Once again, don't say that, oh, I didn't know there was an assignment. Oh, I didn't know this. I didn't know that. Please don't create drama. Be practical. You are engineers in my eyes. Okay. So next week, I'm going to answer questions about the assignments as well. If you get stuck and you want to ask me questions, I will answer to those questions. I am also recording these videos, as you know, I already told you. Currently, I'm using the free version of Zoom, which does not allow me to record more than 40 minutes at a time. So in 4 minutes, I'm gonna end up the lecture. So should you have any questions, please ask it now, because in 4 minutes, I'm gonna end up my lecture. Thank you very much, sir. The online classes and Zoom is really helpful. Thank you for the feedback. I hope you find it useful as well. So the first session, as you can see, is already recorded. It's already finished there. Just to open it up.
You're welcome, sir.
You see that it's already there. And it will be uploaded as soon as I finish this. I will upload this video. Okay.
Yeah.
So you'll be able to see it on YouTube. So you can watch this class again and again should you want to.
Yeah, of course.
Yes, guys. Final bits. So this week you need to find the lecture notes about multiple forms. Make sure to read this step-by-step approach there. It explains how to do this. Also do the checklist box and the list box exercise. It's quite good actually, especially these last ones. It's really good exercises that you may find useful. Okay. And make sure to follow the YouTube channel. I'm gonna upload new videos there because I think the YouTube channel ends up with the text files. So probably in 2 weeks or so, I'm gonna keep uploading new videos. A couple of more, 3 or 4 more videos. And I have no idea how the exams will proceed yet. No explanation has been done yet. But I think in the next week they will probably announce how we can proceed with the exams. And as soon as I learn it, I will let you know, okay?
What about attendance?
I don't worry about attendance, gentlemen. Why are you keep asking me attendance? I don't really understand you. Are you coming to this class just for attendance? Is that the only reason why you are coming here?
No, sir. I'm actually watching the videos.
Please don't ask me attendance anymore. I don't care about it. I didn't care about it in the university either. It was just a regulation that I need to apply. This is not a primary school. If you want to come to my class, come because you want to learn something. Don't come for the attendance, okay? I don't care about it, seriously. Just come here to learn stuff, all right? Please. Right, I'm gonna end up this section. Thank you for coming, and I'll see you guys sometime next week. I will announce the next section online on Moodle page, so please check it out. Thanks for your participation. Have a lovely day. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, teacher.
Corona.
Congo.